He walked in like he owned the place and said, "You're fired. Get out. No handshake, no how do you do, just straight to the execution." I put my badge on the desk, smiled, and said something that was going to change his whole world in about 2 hours. Great. You better start getting ready for that board meeting then. You think this is just some regular office firing? Man, you're about to see the biggest screw-up in corporate history. Name's David Hayes. I'm 49, did 8 years in the Navy, and until about 30 seconds ago, I was the chief operating officer here at American Logistics Systems. Been sitting in this corner office on the 28th floor for 15 years now, looking out at where the three rivers meet in Pittsburgh. I know this building like the back of my hand. I know the heating system makes that weird noise when it's windy. I know the coffee machine takes exactly 47 seconds to make a decent cup. And I know for damn sure that this new guy just made the worst mistake of his life. Preston Walsh didn't even knock, just walked right in like he was some kind of king. New CEO brought in from some fancy consulting firm up in Boston. Guy's got a reputation for shaking things up and one of those smiles that never reaches his eyes. Been in the building all of 4 hours. He stops right in front of my desk, doesn't sit down, doesn't offer to shake hands, just stands there like he's about to give orders to the troops. "Hayes," he says, way too loud for my quiet office. "You're terminated, effective immediately." Dead silence. I don't blink, don't gasp, don't ask him what the hell he's thinking. I just put my hands on the desk, the same oak desk I picked out 10 years ago when we finally started making real money. Restructuring, he says like he's proud of the word, taking this company in a new direction. Leaner, more agile, security's waiting outside. Leave your badge and laptop. This guy's waiting for me to lose it. I can see it in his eyes. He wants the drama, wants me to beg about my pension, ask about my team, cry about all the work I've been doing. He wants to crush some rebellion so he can feel like the big shot he thinks he is. I stand up, smooth out my jacket, reach in my pocket and pull out my ID badge. Set it down nice and gentle on the leather desk pad. Makes a little clicking sound. "Great," I say, picking up my briefcase. "Look him right in the eye until he has to look away. Then you should probably start preparing for the board meeting." His face changes. The smooth act cracks just a little. "What board meeting?" "The one in 2 hours," I tell him, don't wait for an answer. Walk right past him, catch a whiff of his expensive cologne. Smells like money and desperation. 2 security guards are standing in the hallway. I know both these guys. Tony's got a son in the Marines, Steve coaches Little League. They can't even look at me, just staring at their shoes like they're the most interesting things in the world. "Mr. Hayes," Tony mumbles, face turning red. "Sorry, sir. Just following orders." "No problem, Tony. Let's get this done." Walking to the elevator feels like a parade. This place is all glass walls and open spaces, nowhere to hide. Soon as we start walking, everybody stops what they're doing. I can feel all those eyes on me. Phones going down, conversation stopping dead. I keep my head up, focus on those elevator doors. Don't look at the VP who's suddenly real interested in the water cooler. Don't look at my assistant who's got tears in her eyes. Just walk, one foot after the other, my shoes making the only sound in the whole place. Preston's watching from my office door. I can feel him back there thinking he just won some big victory, thinking he cut the head off the snake. Poor guy has no idea he just pulled the pin on a grenade and forgot to throw it. Elevator comes with a cheerful little ding. We all pile in, me, Tony, Steve. Doors close and down we go. My phone buzzes in my briefcase, quick little vibration. Don't need to check it. I know what it is. It's not some worried coworker texting me. It's the company's computer system telling me my termination just got processed. What Preston doesn't know is that when you fire certain people around here, the system does more than just update the payroll. It starts checking things, important things. See, Preston thinks he just fired some middle-aged guy in a suit, doesn't understand how this place really works. When he fired me, he didn't just remove an employee. He triggered a whole bunch of automated systems that I helped set up after we almost went belly up back in 2008. We hit the lobby, marble floor shining under those bright lights. The girl at the front desk looks up and sees the security escort. I give her a little nod. Tony swipes his card to let me out at the turnstile. Light turns red. Access denied. "Take care, Mr. Hayes," Tony says, sounding guilty as hell. "You too, Tony." "Tell your boy I said semper fi." Push through those revolving doors and step out into the Pittsburgh cold. Wind hits my face like a slap. First honest thing I felt all morning. Don't go home, don't head to some bar to drink away my troubles. Cross the street to Murphy's Diner. Been there since before I was born. Serves the best coffee in the city. Big windows facing right at our building. Order black coffee. Find a booth by the window. Pull out my personal laptop Surface Pro that's got nothing to do with the company network. Or so they think. Time to log into a little system I set up years ago during our last big crisis. something to protect the company from people who might try to hurt it from the outside. Funny thing is, it works just as well when the threat comes from inside. On my screen, I'm watching the company's vital signs like a doctor checking a patient's heartbeat. Red alerts start popping up, executive officer removal detected. Then another line, compliance check starting, checking voting rights. Preston's probably upstairs right now pouring himself a drink, thinking he just won the Super Bowl on his first day. Maybe calling his buddies back in Boston, bragging about how fast he cleaned house. Guy has no clue what's coming. New message pops up, emergency protocol 7C started. I take a sip of coffee. Tastes perfect, bitter, and strong. The computer's doing exactly what I programmed it to do years ago. It's checking our company rules against what Preston just did, and it's figuring out that the guy he fired isn't just some employee you can kick to the curb. Here's the thing Preston doesn't know: back in 2008 when the economy went to hell, this company almost died. I mean, flat out bankrupt, lights out, everybody go home dead. The original owner was ready to throw in the towel, but I made him a deal. I told him I'd save the company, keep it alive, get us back on our feet. But I wanted something in return. Not just a paycheck. Anybody can get fired and lose a paycheck. I wanted equity, real equity, the kind that gives you a vote. Over the next few years, every time I saved this place from disaster, and trust me, there were plenty, I took my payment in voting shares. By the time we went public, I owned 51% of the voting rights, not the economic value, mind you, the vote, the power to decide what happens to this company. Preston thought he was firing an employee. What he actually did was try to fire the owner. My phone rings. Charlie Manning, our CFO. Guy's probably sweating bullets right now. David, his voice sounds like he just saw a ghost. Please tell me this is some kind of computer glitch. Please tell me Preston didn't actually try to fire you. He did, I say, keeping it simple. Walked right in, told me I was done, had security walk me out. Sound of something heavy hitting a desk comes through the phone. That idiot. That complete and total idiot. David, does he have any idea who you are? I tried to brief him yesterday. Charlie keeps going, voice getting higher, tried to show him the ownership structure, but he brushed me off. Said he wanted to focus on the future, not old paperwork. Called our shareholder agreement old paperwork. Well, I say, that old paperwork's about to bite him in the ass. You know the rules better than anybody since you helped write them, Charlie says. He can't just fire a protected officer. Any officer with more than 5% voting power needs board approval. Without that approval, what he just did is null and void. It's worse than that. By trying to fire me without following the rules, Preston just violated his own employment contract. The computer system has already figured this out and suspended his authority. Right about now, he's probably trying to send emails and getting error messages. Where are you? Charlie asks. Murphy's Diner, across the street. Stay put, don't go anywhere. The board's meeting. Patricia's calling from New York. She wants to know why our new CEO just tried to fire the majority shareholder. I hang up and look back at my laptop. Things are moving fast now. My calendar's going crazy with meeting invites from Preston. Emergency meeting. Preston Walsh. Right now I click decline. 30 seconds later. Urgent discussion. Preston Walsh. Immediately decline again. Poor guy's panicking. He probably tried to finalize my termination and the computer locked him out. Tried to call legal and found out they're already talking to the board. Now he's trying to get me back upstairs so he can fix whatever went wrong. Not happening. By refusing to meet with him, I'm doing something that drives guys like Preston crazy. I'm not giving him a reaction. If I went back up there, he'd try to spin this. Say it was a test, or he was just shaking things up. Try to make some deal. But sitting here in this diner, letting the system do its thing, I'm forcing him to face what he did all by himself. No way to charm his way out of it. Another meeting invite. Board prep emergency. Preston Walsh decline. Clock says 1 hour until the board meeting. All the board members are logging in now, reading documents, trying to figure out what the hell happened. They're looking at Preston's termination order. They're looking at my voting shares. They're putting 2 and 2 together. Black sedan pulls up outside our building. I recognize the license plate. Patricia Lawson's car. Board chairwoman flew in from New York. When Patricia shows up in person, instead of calling in, you know, somebody's about to get destroyed. I finish my coffee and close the laptop. Time to head back inside. When I do, won't need a badge or permission from anybody. I own 51% of this company. I own that building. Walking back through those revolving doors feels different this time. Tony's still at his security desk. When he sees me coming, his hand moves toward his phone to call upstairs, but then he stops. Something in my face tells him not to bother. I walk straight to the turnstiles like I own the place. Because I do. Tony doesn't ask for my badge, doesn't ask if I have an appointment. Just reaches under his desk and hits the manual override green light. Access granted. Thanks, Tony. Elevator ride up feels like preparing for battle. By the time those doors open on the 28th floor, I'm not the same guy who got walked out 2 hours ago. I'm not the employee who got fired. I'm the owner coming back to clean house. Executive floors designed to intimidate people, make them feel small. But walking down that hallway now, I can feel the power shift happening. The whispers follow me like a wave. They're not looking at me with pity anymore. They're looking at me like I'm something that shouldn't exist, a ghost story walking around in broad daylight. Boardrooms at the end of the hall. Big oak doors, fancy brass handles. Patricia's assistant, Elena, stands up when she sees me. Not the quick jump of someone startled, but the respectful rise you give when the judge walks into court. "Mr. Hayes," she says quietly. They're waiting. "How's the mood in there, Elena?" "Tense," she whispers, glancing at those closed doors like they might explode. "Mr. Walsh asked for water 3 times. Hasn't touched any of it." I put my hand on the door handle, take a deep breath, then push it open. The boardroom's huge -20-foot conference table that cost more than most people's houses. Big video screen on the wall showing the remote directors like they're floating heads watching everything. Soon as my foot hits the floor, all conversation stops dead. There's Preston, sitting at the head of the table. 2 hours ago in my office, he looked like he could take on the world. Now he looks like a kid who climbed into daddy's chair and realized his feet don't touch the ground. His tie's crooked, jacket hanging on his chair. Got his hands wrapped around a stack of papers like they're going to save his life. Probably those restructuring plans he paid somebody to write up. "David," Preston says, voice cracking a little, clears his throat, tries again. "David, glad you came back so we can sort this whole thing out." Guy's trying to act like me showing up was his idea, like this is just some misunderstanding we can clear up over coffee. I don't answer him, don't even look at him. Look straight at the camera instead. "Chairwoman Lawson," I say, nodding at the screen. "Mr. Hayes," comes Patricia's voice through the speakers. Cold as ice. "Please take your seat." Now here's where it gets interesting. Preston's watching me, turning his body toward the empty chair next to him, the COO spot. My old spot. Guy expects me to fall back in line, sit at his right hand, help him explain this mess to the board. I walk toward the table. Preston's face relaxes just a tiny bit. Thinks he's got me back under control, then I keep walking. Right past that chair. Keep going all the way to the other end of the table, opposite Preston. The seat that's usually reserved for the biggest shareholder. The oversight position, the judgment seat. Preston's eyes go wide. He twists around in his chair, watching me sit down. Finally gets what's happening. The whole power dynamic just flipped upside down. From down here, 20 feet away, Preston looks really small. He's got that big window behind him, but he's not blocking any light. The center of gravity in this room just shifted. It's not at the head of the table where the CEO sits anymore. It's down here where the owner sits. Preston's not running a meeting anymore. He's facing a firing squad. I wait until the silence gets so thick you could cut it with a knife. "Shall we get started?" I ask. Preston just stares at me, mouth hanging open like a fish. Patricia's voice cuts through the speakers. "This emergency meeting of the American Logistics Systems Board is now in session. All voting members present, General Counsel Foster. Please read the triggering event." Rick Foster sits 2 seats down from me. Guy treats words like they're surgical instruments, sharp and precise. He adjusts his glasses, opens his folder. At 8:15 this morning, Rick reads, no emotion in his voice. The governance system logged a termination order against employee ID 847 David Hayes. Order was authorized by Preston Walsh, CEO. No prior notice filed with Compensation Committee. No cause listed beyond generic restructuring code. Preston leans forward. Table creaks under his weight. I object to that phrasing. This was a personnel decision. I was hired to streamline operations. I made a command decision to remove redundancy. Rick stops reading. Doesn't look at Preston. Just waits for him to finish, like he's a noisy air conditioner that interrupted a concert. "Mr. Walsh," Patricia says from the screen, "you're not recognized to speak." "Rick, continue." Preston's jaw tightens. Sinks back in his chair, face turning red. Rick turns the page. Under Article 9, Section 4 of our corporate charter, the COO position is designated as protected when held by someone with more than 5% voting equity. Charter states that termination of a protected officer requires supermajority board vote. Since this vote wasn't sought, governance protocol identified the action as ultra vires, beyond legal authority. Rick looks up over his glasses at Preston. Consequently, per bylaw 7C, CEO executive authority is suspended pending review. Mr. Walsh, until this session concludes, you have no signing power, no firing power. You're essentially a guest in this room. Preston jumps up, can't help himself. This is ridiculous. I'm the CEO. You hired me to fix this place. Told me to be aggressive. Now you're saying I need permission to fire my own subordinate. He points at me. That guy represents everything slowing us down. I did what needed doing, made the hard call. That's what you pay me for. Room goes dead quiet. Preston's breathing hard, thinks he just made some great point. I lean forward, put my elbows on the table. Preston, I say, voice calm as can be, you're confused about what happened this morning. He freezes. First time I've spoken since walking in. You think you fired an employee? Think this is an HR issue. I pause, let it sink in. You didn't fire an employee, Preston. You attempted a hostile takeover. Preston stares at me. What are you talking about? Rick, I say, show him the ownership structure. Want Mr. Walsh to see exactly who he tried to delete from payroll this morning. Rick taps his laptop. Main screen changes to a spreadsheet. Company ownership breakdown. Right there at the top in bold letters. Hayes Family Trust. D. Hayes. Economic interest. 23% minus voting power. 51%. Preston squints at the screen, scanning the numbers. When he sees that 51%, his face goes white. This can't be right, he stammers, pointing at the screen. Due diligence said ownership was spread out. Said no single entity held more than 10%. Which due diligence report was that? I ask. Preston turns to look at Shane Anderson, his VP of strategy. Shane's suddenly real interested in his fingernails, won't make eye contact. I didn't know, Preston whispers. Nobody told me. You're the CEO, Patricia says from the screen. Your job to know. Did you read the shareholder agreement before signing your contract? Preston swallows hard. Legal team said it was standard. I skimmed it. You skimmed it, Patricia repeats, lets those words hang in the air like an accusation. I stand up, walk around the table toward the screen. Before we vote on Preston's future, we need to understand why he was so eager to get rid of me. Rick, pull up that briefing document from this morning. The screen switches to show Shane's PowerPoint. Title reads, Project Acceleration Strategic Restructuring for Rapid Value Realization. Take a look at this, everybody, I say, pointing at the slides. This isn't a restructuring plan. It's a demolition manual. Look at slide 7 minus preparation for liquidity event. Shane, you want to explain to the board what a liquidity event means. Shane's sweating now, shirt collar getting damp. That's just theoretical scenario planning. Charlie, I interrupt. Tell them what your server audit found. Charlie clears his throat. Data room was created 48 hours ago. Shane Anderson got administrator access. Yesterday, 3 guest accounts were created for emails ending in summitacquisition.com. Boom. Room explodes. You gave them our data? Patricia's voice is pure ice through the speakers. Without board approval, without NDAs. That's corporate espionage. Preston's looking at Shane like he just got punched in the gut. You told me this was market research. You said we were just testing the waters. It was, Shane stammers. Just preliminary for what? I ask Shane, you've been talking to Summit Acquisition about buying us out? Shane won't answer, just stares at the table. Here's what happened. I tell the board. Shane's been working with Summit to engineer a hostile takeover. They couldn't buy us legitimately because I control the votes. So they brought in Preston to remove me, create chaos, and force a fire sale. Preston slumps in his chair like somebody let all the air out of him. Finally gets it. Shane wasn't helping him succeed. He was handing him a grenade with the pin already pulled. Motion to terminate, Patricia announces. Preston Walsh for gross negligence and breach of fiduciary duty. Shane Anderson for corporate espionage and conspiracy to commit fraud. The votes come fast. Every single board member says yes. Mr. Walsh, Patricia's voice cuts through the room. You're relieved of duty. Surrender your company devices to Mr. Hayes. Security will escort you out. Preston doesn't move for about 30 seconds, then real slowly, like he's underwater. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out his phone, sets it on the table, pulls out his badge, puts it next to the phone. Guy stands up, looks at me one last time. Mouth opens like he wants to say something, but nothing comes out. What's he gonna say? Sorry I tried to steal your company. He walks to the door. Tony and Steve are waiting outside, same security guards who walked me out 3 hours ago. Funny how things come full circle. Door closes behind him. Shane follows about 2 minutes later, looking like he's heading to his own execution, which in a way he is. FBI is going to want to talk to him about those data transfers. David, Patricia says from the screen, board would like to offer you the interim CEO position. Job's yours if you want it. I look at that empty chair at the head of the table. Been there, done that. Thanks, but no, I'm an operator, not a politician. I belong in the engine room, not the corner office. I nominate Charlie Manning as interim CEO. Charlie looks shocked. David, you sure? Dead sure. You've got the integrity this company needs. You stood up to Preston when it mattered. That's leadership. Patricia smiles, first real smile I've seen from her all day. All in favor of Charlie Manning as interim CEO. Every hand goes up. Unanimous. Congratulations, Charlie. David, thank you for saving this company. Again. Board meeting's over. Directors start logging off one by one until it's just the company logo on the screen. I walk back to my real office. My badge is still sitting on the desk where I left it this morning. Pick it up, clip it back on my jacket, makes that same little clicking sound. Sit down in my chair, look out at the three rivers. Storm clouds are breaking up. Sun's trying to push through for the first time all day. Preston thought he was the new sheriff in town. Turned out he was just the hired gun, and he didn't even know who was paying him. Shane thought he could sell us out to the highest bidder. Both of them learned something important today. When you mess with people's livelihoods, when you try to destroy something that took decades to build, there are consequences. Pull a stack of contracts toward me, uncap my pen. Time to get back to work. We've got 3,200 people counting on us to keep this place running right. You know, I've been telling this story at Murphy's Diner for the past few weeks. Same booth, same black coffee. Guys ask me how I knew Preston would screw up so bad, how I was ready for him. Truth is, you prepare for guys like Preston the same way you prepare for any other threat. You build your defenses before you need them. You read the fine print. You understand the rules better than the people trying to break them. See, most folks think power comes from having the biggest office or the fanciest title. Real power comes from doing your homework, from being the guy who reads the contract while everyone else is just looking at the signing bonus. Preston walked in here thinking he was smarter than everybody in the building. Turned out the quiet guy in the corner office, the one he didn't bother to shake hands with, owned the whole damn place. If you're ever in a situation where some hotshot tries to push you around, remember this. Preparation beats intimidation every single time. Know your rights. Read the fine print and never ever let anybody make you feel small in a building you helped construct. Because at the end of the day, the loudest guy in the room usually isn't the one calling the shots.
Some days feel off, like I'm standing but still falling. A little pain, a little tired, and no one to tell it all to. There are days that feel unsteady, like I'm drifting out of place. Every step just feels so heavy, with a smile I have to fake. A little hurt I keep inside me, a little weight I always hide, and 1,000 quiet worries I've been holding deep inside. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you. I keep walking through the silence like it's all I've ever known. Every crowded room reminds me how it feels to be alone. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you. Maybe one day I'll be stronger, maybe I'll learn how to speak, but for now I keep it buried in the parts of me too weak. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you. They say just forget. Move on like it's easy. But forgetting you feels like remembering someone I've never seen. I've been trying to erase you from the places in my mind, but the harder that I fight it, the more you're hard to leave behind. Every memory keeps slipping through the cracks I try to close, like a face I should remember, but somehow never know. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. Every moment turns to fragments, every thought just fades to blue, like I'm searching for a feeling that still only leads to you. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. But now every empty moment still reminds me what is real. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true.